Here, we'll work with drawing modes. And drawing modes allow us to draw shapes in different ways. There are 3 different drawing modes. The Draw Normal mode, which is what we usually draw in. The Draw Behind mode, which allows us to draw behind all artwork on our artboard. And then the Draw Inside mode, which allows us to draw inside specific objects, kind of like a clipping mask. We'll start off by placing some artwork in our document. I want to go to File and down to Open, and in the Lesson 3 folder I want to choose the Artwork Illustrator file and open that. There's some artwork there. I want to select all of that, so an easy way to do that is go to Select and All on Active Artboard. And now I'll go to Edit and down to Copy. I'll go back to my postcard file, and then I'll choose Edit and Paste. And there is the artwork from the other file there. And I'll click away from the artwork to deselect. First, we'll use the Draw Inside mode. And I'm going to select that half circle that we drew earlier. It's red, but I want to turn it into an orange, a half an orange. So I'll go to the Properties panel, click the Fill Color, and choose a nice orange color. Now, with that half circle still selected, I'm going to go to the bottom of the Tools panel and click on the Drawing Modes menu. And I'm going to choose the Draw Inside. And notice there is a dotted line around the object now, which means that anything we paste into it will be pasted inside that object. So now I'll select that bit of artwork in the lower left-hand corner of our artboard. And I'll choose Edit and then Cut, Normal mode. So I'll click on the drawing modes and choose Draw Normal. I'll deselect this, and you can see how that shape has been pasted into the orange. Now that shape isn't exactly where we want it, so we're going to work on getting it to where we want it. So I'm going to select that object, and notice it's selecting both objects. I'll go up to the Properties panel, and I'll choose the Isolate Mask button, which now makes the object we selected the only object that we can edit. Everything else is grayed out. And I'll move that orange, the inside of the orange, so that it's shaped better and looks, there it is. So it looks much better like a half orange. I can just double click the artboard to exit isolation mode. Now I want to draw a rectangle behind all of the objects. So we'll use the Draw Behind mode. I'll go down to the Tools panel and select the Drawing Modes button and choose the Draw Behind. I'll get the Rectangle tool, and starting at the bleed lines, I'll just click, hold, and drag a rectangle and fill that area with a rectangle. And notice how every object is in front of the rectangle we just drew. If we hadn't chosen the Draw Behind mode, it would be on top of everything. And I'll change the fill of that rectangle to a light gray color. And with that rectangle still selected, I'm going to go up to Object, and down to Lock, and over to Selection, so that anything we select now will not also select that rectangle underneath it. So that's a good way to prevent accidentally selecting that rectangle or moving it. And now all I have to do is make some copies of the various objects, maybe resize some of them, arrange them in front of each other, and create some kind of nice composition with our fruit and our bowl. I think I'll get that apple. It's a little bit large there. I think I'll resize it, make it a little bit smaller. I'd like to have it sitting behind the bowl. But I notice too that my little line there isn't quite long enough, so I'll select that. I'll hold down my Alt key to extend it from both sides. I'll select the bowl itself, and then in the Properties panel, I can bring it to the front so that it's now in front of that apple. I'm going to get the leaf shape that I made, and I'm going to hold down my Alt key and copy it several different times. I'll select one of those leaves. I'll make it a little bit smaller. I'll angle it a little bit, and I'll move it over to my apple. I'll make a copy of that by holding down my Alt key. Again, I'll move it around a little bit. I'll make another copy. And rotate it a little bit. I'll get my flower. I'll make a copy of that by holding down my Alt key. I'll move that little flower over on top of those leaves, and I'll make it a little bit smaller. I'll copy the apple by holding down my Alt or Option key on the Mac. I want it in front of the bowl, so while it's still selected, I'll go up to Object, Arrange, and Bring to Front. I think I'll make it a little bit bigger. And I'll rotate it a little bit. I'll get a leaf, maybe make that a little bit smaller, rotate it. I'll get an orange wedge. I'll copy that by holding down my Alt key. Let's see, I'll get the pear next. Place it in the dish. I'll get that lemon or orange wedge, put it in the dish. I'll rotate it a little bit. Maybe I'll bring it forward. I'll go to Object, Arrange, and Bring to Front. I think maybe I need to make the pear a little bit bigger. I'll get my lemon and put it in the dish. Maybe I still need to make that pear a little bit larger. Just move the flower out of the way for now. I'll get a leaf, make that a little bit smaller. Rotate a little bit, put it on the lemon. It needs to be in front. So I'll go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. I'll copy the leaf by holding down Alt. I'll rotate it a little bit. Let's see, get that flower. And I'll make these leaves a little bit smaller and arrange them on that flower. Just rotating them around to get them to look nice on the flower. So what we've done is, we've actually done a lot of work for this chapter. We've used some basic shapes to create objects like apples and pears and oranges. We used image trace to copy a JPEG and turn it into a vector lemon. So we've done a lot of work in this lesson. And I'm just continuing on to arrange my leaves and my fruit. I think the pear needs some leaves on it. I'll copy that and rotate them. Basic shapes and creating a nice composition with a bowl and fruit and leaves and flowers. A really good exercise at learning how to combine simple basic shapes into a nice illustration.